to show you how and why we are changing the industry of education. Okay, we pretend to reach 100 million people over the next 3 years with a completely new model, with a completely new educational business model where we reward people for learning. So this is a change in the industry, a very powerful change. And this is something that we have learned with the time. We are not a new company. We started 6 years ago with Tutellus.com. Tutellus.com is the leading educational platform in the Spanish-speaking world, right? We hold over 1.2 million students right now, 130K active video courses, and we are a profitable company working since, as I tell you, 6 years ago. So this is a centralized model. This is a educational platform, collaborative platform. And the content providers we have here are users like you. Any one of you could be a teacher in Tutellus. You create a course based on video, you upload the course, you fix a price, and you sell it, okay? So this is a classical educational model. We developed a new platform 1.5 years ago, which is Tutellus.io. In Tutellus.io, this is a decentralized platform, and here we pay users for learning. So the basis of the business model is just opposite and the last one. Here, if you are a student, you have to pay. In Tutellus.io, you get paid if you want to learn, all right? So these are some of the partners we have to be able to decentralize the model. Maybe the most important is NEM. We work directly with the NEM Foundation, and possibly we are the biggest project NEM that is already now in the market, and I will tell you more things later about NEM. We also have a lot of institutional support from some of the most important universities worldwide, like MIT or Stanford. We have R&D projects with them, and we have the content of more than 100 universities in Europe and Latin America. For us to have the content of universities is a very important point to generate trust in the local countries we are. So, despite of all that, I have to say that education is a very painful industry, all right? Nobody likes to study. I prefer to stay with my son eating this wonderful food you have here in Korea, or going for a walk with my kids, or taking a beer with my friends, than being studying. I don't like to study because it's a very painful process, because it's expensive, and because it's really something hard in the long term. At the same time, teachers, they live in a very unfair situation because they are badly paid. No teacher earns more money depending on the excellence they generate. So this is a very unfair situation for all of them. And there's a huge gap between employment and education. All companies need to hire, technological companies need to hire a lot of people, and there's not enough people prepared to be able to work in that skills. So we detected these 3 main problems in the industry after 6 years, and we developed a model where the metrics are very clear, okay? In the industry, in the edtech industry, as you can see, the retention of users is very poor, okay? Myself, as a student, I go into a course. First day, I'm very motivated, but after 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, I don't come back to the platform. So any kind of educational platform has the same problems, okay? 5-7% of the people come back to the platform, and rest, they don't come back. We don't have these problems in the main application we use, because everybody access every day to the platforms, but this is a real problem in the educational industry. So we developed a very simple and powerful model. We pay users for learning. So simple. The more things you do in the platform, the more activity you generate, the more people you help, the more projects you contribute, the more tokens you get. So we developed a both sides model token, a model where we have a real token we call the TUT. The TUT is a tradable token. This is a token which has a value. And we have other token, which is the STUT, that is not a real token. This is just a measure of relevance. So the more activity you do in a project, in a course, the more STUTs you get. The STUT as it's something about the knowledge you are earning, you cannot, the knowledge and the relevance cannot be bought or sold, okay? So we give always users studs depending on the activity they generate in the platform. So I will tell you after how the model works, but we have a solution for the different players we have in the educational industry. For students, because they can earn money through our tokenomics model. For teachers, because they have different revenue sources and they can get payments instantly. For companies, because they can hire people based on the relevance and the knowledge they have now in real time. And we support everything with a very powerful scholarships program we developed. What's the scholarship program? This is our catalyst, our growth machine. For us, it's very easy to give scholarships to people to let them to study free, because when they realize once they are inside the platform they can earn money, they start to make a lot of things, a lot of activity, they start to help a lot of people, so the viral loop starts to work with the scholarships as a starting point, all right? So how does it work? It's very simple. As I tell you, the student enrolls in a course. You can enroll in a free course, in a paid course, it doesn't matter. And you start helping other users and making activity. So you will start receiving and getting stud. So the more things you do in the course, the more studs you get. You can finish a course in 1 day, in 1 month, or in 1 year. It depends, it's up to you. But you get a lot of stud while you are doing a course. At the end of a course, we ask you, what do you want to do with your stud? Do you want to trade your stud by TUT, by the liquid token, by cash? If you do that, you lose your relevance, but you get the cash. Or maybe you want to hold your relevance, it's okay, it's fine. You will become someone very important in the platform, but you don't get cash. So it's up to you, but it's a choice you have to do, and you cannot change after, okay? So we have two kinds of people. We have people who wants to get money in the short term, it's all right. They change the relevant for the cash, for the TUT, and we have other people that wants to become relevant in the platform through the stud. And why do we have this kind of people? Because we also work with companies that are looking for hiring people based on different skills. So if I'm a student in Tutellus, I'm studying, for example, blockchain development, and I am getting a lot of studs in blockchain, and I hold these studs, maybe a company, the company from Nissan here in Seoul, can ask to the platform for the best people in blockchain development. If I get a job through the platform, the company has to pay Tutellus in TUTs, so the platform shares the revenue between myself as a student, between the teachers that were involved in my learning process, and also between the platform, all right? So with this model, everyone wins about money. The students, because they can earn money in the short term or in the long term through a better job, between the teachers, and also the company, because they hire the best people in the market. So the teacher also has different revenue sources. The only revenue source a teacher can have in the industry, educational classical industry, is this one. They can get money depending on the content they generate. With our model, they can get money in 4 different revenue sources. So we make the content proposal more attractive to attract the offer. And from a tokenomics model, despite of the fact we give tokens to users, we also receive tokens in the platform, because paying courses in tokens always is cheaper than paying in fiat. For example, think about, we have a lot of users. We have now today around 400,000 users in countries where it's not possible to pay in fiat. It's forbidden, it's impossible, like Venezuela, Cuba, Bolivia, and most parts of Latin America. They cannot pay in fiat, but they can pay in crypto, in tokens, okay? We also let teachers to promote their courses only in tokens, and we also work with companies paying us also only in tokens, okay? So we get tokens inside the platform. So this is an example, but for users, they need tokens to access also to premium services. So with these kind of things, we try to incentivize the demand of tokens, not only for companies,